Hello, welcome to ADHD Founders, a podcast where we talk about having ADHD and running our own businesses. This is the first episode back in 2026, so we're excited to be here with you. This episode, we are talking about a number of different things. We do a look back of 2025, and in the next episode, we're going to do a look ahead and talk about our intentions for 2026. So this episode, we're going to talk about that look back and some wins and some launches that we have for our different products and the benefits of being a founder, some of the processes that we've been implementing and automations that we've been doing to help grow our businesses this year. And then we'll get into some picks and plugs.
Yeah, we have some good picks because, we're all the geeky product people. Jesse has a really great book recommendation for product building. Marie has a smartwatch that you may not have heard of that is worth hearing about. And then I talk about smart glasses that I like. So make sure to stay tuned for that part.
Yeah, but first, the really, really important thing to talk about is we have our first patron, our first Patreon supporter. So little round of applause for that. Huge shout out and thanks to Dexter Jacobs. I asked if Dexter had something he wanted us to shout out for him. Yeah, he gave me a giant thing and then apologized at the end for it being like a million paragraphs, which is very relatable, very
we loved it, Dexter. We read it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So Dexter is building, I believe it's pronounced Linearium, which is kind of like, which means a place of lines. So line, L-I-N-E, and then ARIUM.cc. Although I also noticed that linearium.com forwards to the same website, but you can use either one, it looks like, to check out Linearium. We were looking at the site and it kind of is doing a few different things. It looks to be an app focused for authors, there is an outlining tool for outlining and editing, getting you sort of from that initial outline to publishing your EPUB. But it also takes on some other things, like having sort of like I forgot the name of it again.
Linktree, like a
Linktree. Thank you.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, sort of that social media link page where you can have link to the book that you presumably, created through Linearium. And there's a whole bunch of other features here as well about being able to sell it. It's kind of not early access. There's like a wait list. So you can sign up to get on the wait list right now and find out more about it. I'm super curious to find out more what's kind of going on behind the scenes, there's some like mostly mock-up stuff here, it looks like, but I'm excited to see what the actual product looks like. So I'm getting on the wait list, and you can check it out at linearium.com.
And Dexter said it was launching pretty soon, so this would be the right time to get on the wait list. Thanks for supporting us, Dexter. And if anybody else is enjoying this podcast, you can also support us on Patreon. Jesse, what's the link again?
Patreon.com/ADHD_founders. And so, thank you, Dexter, and thank you, anyone else that jumped on. Right at the beginning, Dexter's message says, hello, thank you for your podcast. I can't say enough how much I've enjoyed listening to your show from both an ADHD and founder perspective. It was exactly what I needed a few months ago when I found it. So that is awesome. I love that. Very, very cool.
Thank you. We're here for you, Dexter. All right. Thank you so much, Dexter. And let's get into the episode.
We could start with the podcast awards. Do you still have?
Yeah, let's do the pod. Your podcast awards. After the last time we tried to record, that'll help maybe explain why it's been a month since we've had an episode.
We're back. We're back with ADHD Founders. We haven't been here. We took a long little month, I suppose.
An unplanned break where we thought we were going to record like almost every week, and then just something came up every time.
Well, we didn't plan in advance to take a month break, but that's what happened. Marie decided that we should have podcast awards. What are the
awards you assigned us, Marie?
Well, I think this was when we were trying to record and no one was.
Right. Well, yeah, Marie, I last minute said I absolutely was unavailable to record and sent a picture of me by the pool in Mexico. Unbeknownst to these guys that I was on vacation, I forgot to tell them about. And Marie said that we all should get awards. And what were they, Marie?
Okay. I'll give we can all read our own awards. Okay, so mine was winner of always being late, even when I said I'll just be 5 minutes, because that happens every time.
Yeah, I've told Sharon behind the scenes that if I know I'm going to be late, I no longer announce it. because I know that if I announce that I'm going to be 5 minutes late, then that means Marie is going to be an extra 15 minutes late.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I scolded him one time. He was like, I thought about not saying it. And then I was like, next time, don't. So Jesse was late. I was the first one on, which I think I often am. But I was late also.
You're usually the first one on, but you're also the winner of I'm in a different country or location with no reception when we're supposed to be recording. So you're extreme. You're either there or you're...
It's happened multiple times.
Multiple times where we're like, hey, Sharon, are you almost here? Where are you at? And you're like,
I'm at the pool.
Oops.
I'm at a lake.
I'm in Mexico.
I'm at a beach.
And I've got no reception.
Or willingness to record because I'm enjoying my little trip. I definitely win that prize. And I'm proud of that prize. I'll take it. I'll try to let you guys know in advance, but I'm happy to be getting out and taking a vacation.
And Jesse's usually around, but you're the winner.
Yeah, so you gave me the winner of, I swear I thought we were recording today, but we're not. I don't know what it is about the day or the time zone or something. I always think we're recording on the day that we're not, and then I completely forget about it on the day that we're supposed to record. I'm going to blame the Australia different day.
Yeah, just blame Australia.
It's mixing. Just blame Australia. That's my go-to.
Just the whole
somehow mixes up. I think every Tuesday at 3:00, I think we're going to record when that's the wrong day and the wrong time. So I don't know why that's stuck in my brain.
Is it because did we used to record on Tuesday a long time ago?
I don't know
if we
ever did.
Maybe it was a Tuesday. I feel like it was weekly when we did the previous podcast.
No, I think we recorded on Fridays when we did the previous.
Oh, really?
Before we came back and called it ADHD Founders.
No, it was my Friday, your Thursday.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. You see why it's Australia. I'm blaming Australia again.
Yeah. I think today we were going to talk about, outside of blaming continents for our problems, we wanted to talk about, like, to kind of do a 2026 review a little bit.
2025
and kind of what
review.
went well.
There's not a lot to review in 2026. But yeah, like a look back on our, like, kind of the big wins of the past year and what went well, what didn't, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not dwell too much on things that didn't go well and focus on the happy thoughts, the things that were great about 2025 or things we can learn from, that sort of thing.
So 2025, I always have a hard time. It takes me like 3 months to get used to saying the new year. In 2025, which was last year, I definitely had some highlights. We at Shelpful, we launched the iPhone app, which was a big thing for us and obviously a lot of work.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's true. Got our team in a really good place, which was, I think, part of Marie's low light because I hired a software engineer who used to work for her, and he's amazing. And I feel like
above board and like, hey, like,
yes.
Yeah, you didn't like head onto him and like
you didn't
steal him away.
It was more like, hey.
You were like, hey, Sharon, would you like to hire an amazing software engineer?
Exactly,
and I said, yes, I would. And so I feel like our team is really clicked in. I feel like we got into a really good groove in the run up to launching the app. And also we've been really great about it. I feel like we're shipping a feature every 2 weeks, which is awesome. And I think we're on our, 7th App Store release. So, and some of our features are back end only. So, we're getting some good stuff out there, which I like the pace. I want just that feeling of we have something out there. It was never going to be the final product, and let's keep listening and innovating and adding. So that's fun. That's why I like working at startups, is that you can have an idea on a Friday and then in your Monday engineering meeting, make a plan. And then by the end of that week, you're testing it, So I think that it doesn't always work at that pace, but that's what I love about being at a startup. So also just appreciating another year working at a startup. And I was kind of having a moment of gratitude of like the fact that I get to do this is huge. And so I feel kind of that gratitude coming out of the year too, just like another year and where I can feel like we did push something out that I'm proud of. And they had a great reception. People have liked it. And I do get messages of like, I've never had anything like this. This is the thing I've always needed, which is amazing. So I'm happy about that. I think lowlights, I don't know. I mean, I think that nothing ever moves as fast as I wanted. I think, I wanted to launch the app like in the summer and getting pushed to September. And, there's things like that, but I feel like I'm not spending as much time dwelling on that. I think that I'm taking some of the lessons I learned in how the delays happened and trying to bring them into just, crisper decision making and and just kind of process things that I think are better. On that note, I think process is something that we need to get better as a team. And it really should come from me. I don't love process. I love following process. And I like it when somebody is militantly making me follow it. I thrive in an environment that there's a product manager who's like, the deadline for the wireframes is today. And I'm like, hell yes, deadlines.
That is not me.
I love a deadline. Well, I mean, I of course fear them, but I respect them and I meet them. I do well with deadlines imposed by someone else. Yeah. Self-imposed deadlines are meaningless and crap.
Right.
So I think that just that has been great. And we came out in the year, we integrated voice chat into Shelpful and image recognition. And so those are like hotly requested features. So I felt good too, like giving the people what they wanted.
Nice. That's awesome.
How about you guys? There's been a lot going on for both of you.
I would say, well, I guess to kind of follow on from what you were talking about with the team, Sharon, like you were talking about like getting the team to work together and all the process and stuff and hiring a new dev. For me, it was kind of the opposite because I lost the team. And for me, it was kind of trying to figure out how to work again as a solo founder because I started Llama Life solo and then I hired 2 people. And then last year, I lost both people. And the reason for that was in order to keep the business alive. It wasn't anything to do with performance or the team getting along. It was literally like, how do I scale back so I can keep this company going and still deliver this product for people who really need it? So for me, last year was all about adapting to being a solo founder again. I didn't do a lot of feature updates, but I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes in order to automate things so I could run it as a solo founder. Because running it solo when it's small is a lot different to running it solo when it's grown a little bit. Because there's different challenges in terms of like customer support that you need to be able to manage. So I think a lot of it for me was like automation behind the scenes and like trying to figure out how do I run this as a solo person again. That was pretty challenging, I think, because I had to do all the roles. And for a while, I was kind of used to just delegating stuff and getting people to do stuff that I didn't necessarily want to do. Like that wasn't like my strength, but now I have to do it all again. So I think last year was just kind of figuring that stuff out.
So process was a highlight then. You were able to kind of get some of that in place, which when you do have the opportunity to hire someone again, a lot of that will be in place. So you know, that's
and
great.
I can actually hire them for different things now because the stuff that I had previously hired people for is all automated now. There is a very fine balance, though, I'll say, because you don't want to automate things to the point where it feels impersonal. Because I still want it to feel like what it is, which is a small business. I don't want to act like a massive company because we're not a massive company. And I think sometimes people, even though I'm one person, I can act like I'm bigger than I am, and that will be advantageous in some way.
And it's really the opposite, I think.
Yeah. I think people like to support like a small business or an indie business. Like there is something about that. Yeah, just sort of kind of not getting ahead of myself in terms of how big it is, because it's not huge, but it's enough to support me. And going back to what you said, Sharon, about being really grateful that I can do this, it's enough to support me as one person and keep the business alive. And I'm really grateful that I don't have to get up and go into a big corporate environment every day, and I can do stuff that I want to do and build stuff I want to build. So that's huge. I think I forget that sometimes. So I think that's a good point to remember. Like that's a really good thing. It works with my ADHD brain as well, because I can get up and do stuff when I want to.
Right. And very few startups and businesses get even to that point where you can self-sustain.
Yeah. So that's a huge milestone. What else is there?
Even well-funded startups would collapse if they didn't have more funding, because the system, like the ability to self-sustain with and have it pay you a salary out basically is hard.
It's really hard. Yeah. I think I also focused a lot on my health in 2025. That was a low light for me because I was getting a lot of like sensory issues like related to ADHD, stuff that I had in the past that I used to manage. But for some reason last year, maybe stress or something, like maybe age as well. Don't know, like it could be age related. Like suddenly I couldn't handle those things. So that was definitely a low light for me, but that stuff is a lot better now than it used to be. I think at the start of 2025 was really bad, but now it's kind of better.
Personal wins count.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of personal stuff. Like I moved house last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I met my girlfriend last year, and that's going really well. Yay. And like, yeah, just a lot of personal wins. So I feel a lot more settled. So 2026, I'm actually very excited about. I've had a lot of customers write in and say like, what's happening? Is the app still alive? And I'm like, oh my God, yes, it's still alive. I have big plans this year. So if you're a Llama Life customer listening to this, like stay tuned because I have a lot of stuff coming up.
Nice.
Every job, it's good to have work-life balance and your health and
Mhm.
all that in check. But I used to work at Y Combinator, and the standard pieces of advice were obviously like talk to customers, build product,
Yeah.
exercise and sleep. Like
Right,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like they're like it was.
Yeah.
It's well documented that anyone needs that, but when you are the company and you are the one who kind of the decider if it lives or dies on any given day, then that's paramount. Is you
Yeah.
taking care of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, so it was a really weird year for me. I was thinking back to where I was at the start of the year, and it's so wildly different. So when I started the year, I was working at an AI startup that I was at, and I was there for about 4 to 5 months into the year, and then just sort of like doing stuff on the side, like the ADHD space, promoting my book, doing content, things like that. And then about 4 or 5 months into the year, I was laid off from that company, which was really kind of a blessing because it was like it had gotten not super great there. It was feeling, I think I'd been there a year and I was feeling burnt out like pretty bad already. So it was like not the kind of startup environment that I was wanting to be at.
Yeah.
But without getting into that, so I started the year, it was pretty rough. I was in kind of a dark space. And so getting laid off doesn't feel great, but it really kind of allowed me to explore a lot of things this year. And so I did a lot of stuff in the ADHD space. I launched my ADHD motivation mastery course. And then the thing I think I look back on, like trying to think if I like 5-10 years from now, if I'm looking back at this year, what am I looking at as like the highlight or the thing that was significant about this year as far as like professionally or whatever? I'd say one, this 2025 was the year I started building WavePal with my co-founder Gio. So there's a lot of that building, and then really diving into learning React Native, which is something I'd always wanted to do. I've been doing React code for like however long React has been around, basically 11 years or something like that at this point. And I always wanted to get into doing mobile, and I really just never had the opportunity before. I had done like some free week projects in the past.
And it's rare when you're at a company because they're not like, yeah, let's put a new guy in on this. They're
Right.
like, no,
Yeah,
let's have
exactly.
the person who already knows how to do it.
Yeah, I was at a company,
Yeah.
but they already had the mobile developers that were doing that stuff. So it didn't really, I had asked, like it was known at that company that I was interested in that, but it just, I get it. Like I didn't have the experience, so it didn't really make sense for that to happen or whatever. But that was one thing I really, especially with Claude Code, which I ended up using, which didn't even exist at the beginning of the year, which is kind of wild, like how much some of those things have changed. But really using that kind of helped me fast forward the learning of like what I've got all this background of React knowledge. What different things do I need to know to apply it to React Native? And that really like helped me get a leg up. I know you went through this, Marie, when you were learning, but you didn't have Claude Code to kind of help. You just had to like go through each painful learning step yourself.
Yeah. Well, I hired a mobile developer who knew some React Native. So
that's right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned alongside him by watching what he was doing. And the cool thing is because Llama Life is built in React, and then we basically said, let's just start a whole new code base and do it again in React Native, and also do it how you would do it. Because like when I first did Llama Life, I was very, very green and new at coding, and I'm sure it could be organized in like a better way. So I got to see how someone who kind of knew what the outcome would be just create it from scratch, because I think it's just much easier to do it that way. Because like I was kind of like, oh, I need to add this on and add this on and add this on. But he could just go, I know where it needs to end up, and I'm just going to structure it in a way that would be most efficient for that.
Right.
And then I could compare React and React Native and go, okay, this is the same component, and this is how it looks in React Native. And it was very, very helpful to do it that way. And I kind of feel kind of grateful that I had that comparison, because a lot of people don't.
Well, yeah, and you could see you kind of said this already, but you could see your version of it
Yeah.
And then he basically showed you
a more
his version.
experienced.
So you could see the
Right.
disparity was all learning.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
That's really, I mean, that's a huge win. I feel like learning a new thing in your late 30s to 40s is not as common.
Yeah.
And I, especially because it's something I always wanted to be able to do more, because I've I had the original iPhone, and I way back then I wanted to build stuff for it, and I just didn't. I learned Objective-C, and I built a really basic fantasy football app, I don't know, 14 years ago or something like that, a long time ago. And then I got a job and we weren't doing that. So I never got any further at that point. But now I'm really diving in and really just loving it. So I've been I started with the wavepal app, which I think we have an episode where I talk about, where I quote unquote vibe coded that in a weekend. And now I've been building a second app. So I'm still doing wavepal. That's still kind of my prime thing. But I wanted to build a different Blue Sky client. I was kind of looking and seeing what other client apps were out there for it. And I didn't love all of them, or I didn't love any of them. There were parts of it that were good in different apps, but nothing worked the way that I wanted to. And so I was like, well, I'll just, let me try building my own. And so I've been doing that for a couple months now. And I mentioned how sometimes learning is done through failure and trying things and it's not working and it's difficult. And I've been learning a ton in the past couple of weeks, because I've had this really annoying bug that's been driving me wild. But through that, I think, knock on wood, I think I finally fixed it as of today. But it's been one of those things where I'm improving all the different pieces of the app, because I'm seeing, okay, well, how can this part be better? And then I'm researching about, well, how does image caching work with Expo Image? What sort of cache profile should I use for that? And what are best practices for this? And so I'm really diving into all of this stuff, because I'm faced with a problem that I'm not just flying forward. I'm pausing now and really optimizing and making a lot of the code better and learning all that. Anyway, so that's probably, when I look back on 2025, I think that's when my React Native journey really solidified. And I feel like going forward, that's going to be a big part of what I do. I just really, really enjoy doing that sort of stuff. And I hope to continue being able to do that for a long time, 2026 and beyond.
You really got to scratch your dev creator itch, because you were doing a lot of content creation before, but it was with words and books and writing and stuff. And now it's dev, which you always had, but you didn't focus on it as much.
I think one of the things that I really have learned about myself through 2025 is how much I just love product. That is just where my brain goes. That is where I want to be. I want to be building things that solve problems and and perfecting all those little details. Like I said, I downloaded other Blue Sky apps, and those little details would drive me nuts, where it's this is finally made, but I hate this detail, or I hate this little thing. Or I'll get to this screen and it feels like they didn't think about what this would actually be like to use. And that's the stuff I love, thinking about all of those things and trying to improve all those little UX, UI areas and making things better. And that's just where my passion is. I love building products, solving problems, and all
I think
of that.
that's what kind of binds us together, actually.
Yes.
We all love products.
I love product and having control of being able to build that product exactly how I want.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to gain a skill this year. I mean, I feel like I got really good at prompt engineering. I would call myself good at that. I don't know. I hesitate to say great about anything. So I think that was definitely a skill I got. But I think that magic feeling of conceiving of something and then having it be in somebody else's hands is cool.
Yes.
It's so great. And then even better if they like it, and even better if they use it, and all that good stuff. Jesse, did you push that to the App Store yet? And what's it called again? Is it Flux or Fusion? I forget.
Yeah, I don't think I even said the name. So it's Flux, the Blue Sky app that I'm building. So FLUX, Flux. I do have a website. The domain's not perfect, but it's fluxapp.blue for Blue Sky. And if you go there, that'll take you to I have a quick landing page, and then I'll link to the Blue Sky profile. And you can find, actually, I don't know, I will do it right after we get off this call. I don't think I have the test flight linked on the test flight is just out there on Blue Sky. I don't think I have it linked on Flux yet, so I should do that. I'll do that after this call. I'm writing down
I don't even
so
know
that I
there
don't
was
forget.
a dot blue.
Yeah,
available.
I've noticed a lot of like Blue Sky focused things have started using that, which is kind of cool, which makes sense. Like just dot blue. So yeah, Flux app dot blue, and that'll take you to the Blue Sky profile, and I'll link the test flight on there as well. So I have like over 100 people using it, which is pretty cool because I haven't really done a big announcement. I just like mentioned it on Blue Sky and have been sort of posting little updates as I'm building it. It's been super fun. I'm excited.
We like so many of the same things. I'm just looking at your website now. Like on your coming soon thing, you've got this little like dot that's kind of pulsing and
yeah,
I'll say pulsing, not flashing, it's pulsing. But I have something really similar as well on Llama Life. Like it's like the loading wheel or whatever. I have this pulsing dot. There's something about it. There's like, I don't know, I like it. It feels relaxing and it feels like a loading thing to me, but it's cool.
Yeah. I think you and I definitely have a lot of the same. We appreciate the same sort of things, which is cool.
The details, like that was the first thing I saw. I was like, "Oh, I like that."
Marie described Jesse as the white male American version of me.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're like very similar personality with like a lot of our demographic flags flipped or whatever.
Yeah. It's like if I like something, there's like a 95% chance you will like it as well. If it's
yeah,
like
I feel like our
thing.
WhatsApp chat is mostly you and I sharing random cool things we found, and the other person instantly saying, "Like that looks amazing." I want it too.
I want this.
All right, I need to finally get on Blue Sky so that I can use your.
Yeah, I know. I tried to find you. I was like testing the search. And I like search you and you weren't even there. There's some other Sharon Pope. Like, you got to get in there.
Scandal.
Exactly. Scandal.
I need to get back into posting. I say this all the time.
I will say I've been pretty active, like reading it and stuff, obviously, because I'm testing the app. And one thing that I think, like, I don't know if either of you are into sports at all, but I'm really into sports. And that's one of the things I miss the most from old Twitter. Like, Twitter was where live sports commentary and things like that would happen a lot. And it's sort of, I just can't bring myself to use X a lot of the time these days. It's just like worse and worse and worse. But this year in particular, it feels like sports Blue Sky has arrived. Like so many of the old Twitter writers have moved over to Blue Sky and are actively posting there. Like the conversation has been happening. It was like starting to happen in the baseball season. And then now with football, it's like really active, and it reminds me of old sports Twitter, which is pretty exciting. I do think there might be a little bit of bias because I live in Washington, and so the sports teams I care about are Seattle teams, which means that
tech savvy.
Yeah, there's more tech savvy people covering these teams, and there's more left leaning just because like there's that kind of association with Blue Sky. I think it's more likely to have coverage of a Seattle team than maybe, I don't know, a Dallas team or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But it's been like really exciting to see Blue Sky become like, I think last year I felt like I had to jump over to X whenever like, oh, something cool happened. I wonder what people are saying about it and this crazy play. And no one's saying anything on Blue Sky. I'd have to go to X to see commentary. And I haven't felt that feeling at all this year. I haven't had the urge to like, oh, what are they saying on X? Because there's been plenty of conversation on Blue Sky. So yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a good signal.
Yeah. It feels really positive that it's like expanding to other areas as far as topics and really just sort of like becoming more of that town square sort of vibe that Twitter used to be.
And the crazy thing is, Sharon, like when you log in, you'll see, like when you create your account and stuff, it looks just like X. Like the color, the layout, everything, the font, everything just looks...
No, but it looks like Twitter, not X, because X keeps getting worse and worse and weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's very familiar. I was totally listening while you were talking, because it's not like it takes brain power to click a couple buttons. The cool thing about Jesse, if anybody is on Blue Sky and follows Jesse, he has a little starter pack if you go to his profile, and it has a bunch of ADHD creators, and you can follow them, which I just did. I like,
awesome.
It's nice. It's hard to go to an empty room, and the ones that they suggest are always very templated, I feel like. So anyway, so I'm off to a good start. I now follow like 40 people recommended by Jesse.
The starter pack is a great idea for, because when you sign up for a new thing and then it's like, who do I know that's on here? Starter pack. Actually, that's with the sports thing, that's one thing that really helped. finding a couple of like NFL related starter packs, and I could follow a bunch of people that I didn't know were on there. And so those starter packs are great for that. But yeah, if you just go to my profile, I'm ADHD Jesse in Blue Sky. If you search that, you'll find me. And I have my pinned post links to my ADHD creators. I think I have you on there, Marie. Are you on that? You're in that starter pack, I think, right?
I don't know. It's your starter pack.
I'm pretty sure you are in there.
I don't remember seeing her, but I.
Oh no, maybe
listening.
I didn't.
I was also
my
listening.
God.
I need to go back and with my attention actually look at this because I don't know that I
actually. Yeah, I'm looking at. I think I didn't. You weren't posting ADHD stuff at all. You were only. Yeah, so I think I decided not to include you because you weren't doing ADHD content.
It's a rough world out there, Marie. Even your best friends won't include you in your starter pack.
Even my white male American version of me will
just put up one ADHD post and then Jesse will have good.
I mean, I do have co-hosts of ADHD founders in my bio. And
I'm curious.
is an app for ADHD.
Jesse, curious, I know you were struggling to do content or like bring yourself to do Instagram and stuff like that. It looks like you're posting on Blue Sky pretty regularly. Are you kind of feel like you're getting back into your like old Jesse groove of the quippy one-liners?
Well, so I started up. I have some recurring like scheduled stuff happening again. And then I'm mostly on Blue Sky. I'm doing like dev update sort of stuff, just like more like I used to use Twitter before anything, where I was just sort of like talking. I have the automated posts that are happening like a few times a week, sort of resharing older stuff. And then I'm also like trying to be active on Blue Sky, like just like talking about what I'm doing with the app or a new thing that has changed. And I really miss old Twitter. And so I'm trying to trying to have both worlds, like have my cake and eat it too, where like posting, because I know that content resonates with people. And it's really like, I know for me, it's really helpful to see that sort of content and just feel like, oh, I'm not alone with this feeling. And so I kind of want to have that, as well as just being like, hey, also, I'm like right here just posting my own thing about what I'm going through or what I'm doing today, or this stupid bug that I cannot seem to freaking solve with React Native or whatever. Just sort of, I'm trying to use Blue Sky as like my less performative or whatever social media where I can just like freely do it. Yeah. And not feel like, oh, I have to optimize every single post that I say so that it has more engageability or it's more likely to get reposted or whatever.
And I'm sure you know this, but just to be the mirror holding up to you, that is how you initially gained a big following on social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
By just being yourself.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's nice that but it's good when you, like, that's like what TikTok was for me, where I felt it was kind of like a safe place to just be me and not be embarrassed about that. And so it helped me gain a voice that kind of worked for me. And so I think that this can be a gift.
So that's another thing we didn't mention about 2025, like you growing like huge audiences across like social media and stuff.
Yeah, it really grew. That was awesome. And we don't do paid ads for Shelpful. So thanks to everyone who followed me and tried Shelpful, because that's like my Instagram posts are the main ways we get customers. So hopefully the algorithm doesn't stop that.
What was your growth in followers?
Oh man, I at least doubled. So I now have like 230,000 something on Instagram.
Wow. Holy crap.
And I think I started the year at like 60 probably last year. So
that's more than double. That's like triple, quadruple.
Yeah. Check me on the math. I feel like I remember I think a good landmark is going when I met a bunch of other creators in Austin. We went to the Nerd Diversion. I feel like I was definitely below 100. I was maybe like, I think I had really fought for my 60 or 50,000.
Right.
And I did I grew that over like 3-4 years. And then, some of my content just started clicking with people, and it's fun. It's fun. When
that's amazing. Like maybe you won't say it, but I'm going to ask you to say it. You had a couple like celebrity like follows and stuff.
Yes.
Who did you have? Do some name drop.
Kristen Bell follows me.
Crazy.
Kristen Bell. And she doesn't just follow me. She yesterday I screenshot it and sent it to my husband. She was like one of the first people to like a post that I posted. So
that's amazing.
I feel like I'm like in her feed, which is crazy. And it was kind of a promotional post. It was like me talking about a workshop that people should join. So I feel like I wasn't thinking it would reach that. Neil Patrick Harris follows me.
What?
Wow.
Dude, he
Monica
answer himself.
Lewinsky. I think she was the first one that I noticed come in. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
great.
That's
And then,
awesome.
yeah, it's like, that's obviously, I'm here to build a business. I'm here to grow my company.
Right.
But the
It's
content
fun,
is
though.
hard
It's
to show
just
up
fun.
for. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it takes time to edit it, and putting your face in front of a camera
Yeah.
is hard.
It's scary.
And pressing record is hard. And yeah, so for anyone out there listening who's trying to grow an audience, it is hard still for me, even with this amount of followers, to like just put my face out and edit something and record something that maybe will get barely any views still. And it never gets easy, I don't think, for me at least. But it's
Yeah.
validating when you get some followers and some
Mhm.
celebrity followers.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what you said to me, like it's really easy to forget what has worked or what has like connected with people or whatever. And then you get to a point and then it becomes like scary to do that. Cause you're right. Like it doesn't matter how many followers you get. You still like every single post, you're like, what if no one likes this? And then now I have this embarrassing post of me posting a thing that no one likes and who's going to see that and judge me and all that, like that anxiety and fear like comes in and then just like ruins it when it's like, well, no one was looking before. And then you were doing the stuff that actually people like cared about and connected with and stuff like that.
And it's true. That's like as a friend of yours, I think that's what I like about you too.
Right.
You have this unique ability, doesn't he, Marie, to like just kind of recap things. And so I feel like that's what, and I found you as a creator before I ever was friends with you. So I feel like that it's fun for me to hear you talk about Blue Sky, because I think your voice is really, I like the voice you had or have on social media, and I like that you're excited about it again.
Like your voice on social is very relatable. Like you managed to put it into like a few sentences and then you go, oh, I'm in this tweet kind of thing.
Right.
You know?
Right. But he does it in real life too, which is what I love. Like I love it when you get to know somebody behind their content, because like everyone will be like jibber jabbing about this or that, and Jess would be like, it's almost like, and then just like summarize it. And everyone's like, yes. And I love that about you.
I don't know if this is an ADHD thing or not, but like I do that a lot too. It's like, it's sort of how my brain like understands stuff. It's like this, but not. It's like that. You end up having like a lot of things. We were even doing this before when we were checking out a website. We're like, oh, it's sort of like this, but it's like, except for this one thing, or these two other products together. And it's like, that's how I understand stuff.
I crave wanting to wrap things in a little bow and make it make sense.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a common trait for people with ADHD, where when you're having a conversation with something and they tell you a story, a lot of the times myself and a lot of other people with ADHD will want to share their own similar story, which some people take that the wrong way. Like, oh, you're trying to make it all about you. But really, I'm trying to connect. I heard your story and I want to share like my own story that relates with that and kind of show like a connection that way.
As a gift to you.
When it's happening, it feels like I'm trying to be like, oh, I relate because of this. And I'm like trying to like connect the threads between something that I know, between the thing that you just said.
Yes.
But I've learned you have to be careful with that, because particularly people without ADHD often will feel like, oh, you're trying to shift the focus back to you, which is not at all the intent.
Oh my God. I do this all the time.
But I'm trying, that's kind of one of those things of trying to become more aware of like, whether or not that's the intent, then that is how some people are feeling. So I need to kind of be aware of that, because that's my natural tendency is to be like, oh yeah, and that reminds me of this thing.
Which, by the way, plays great on the internet.
You know what the other thing is? It's because I think a lot of people with ADHD are quite long storytellers as well. So when you kind of slip in that little fact that, oh, this happened to me too, it's not like a 5-second thing where you go, oh yeah, this happened to me. It's like a 30-second thing where you're like, this happened to me, and you go, blah, 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 and you give them all the details, and then it feels like the whole conversation's gone off on a tangent.
Yeah, because I'm like excited that I'm connecting it to this thing, and then I'm just like talking and talking.
I do this
that's no good.
all the time, and I think one thing that helps me maybe is like, I hope it helps, but at the end I go, oh, sorry, like that, I just went on for a bit, but I was like, the whole point of that was to say blah, 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 and then I try and tie it back to them.
Or you use the one finger rule or what Jesse always.
Yeah, I've been doing that in this conversation.
I'm just for the listeners, hold up a finger to remind yourself of the thing you want to say while hopefully not interrupting someone, which I, by the way, interrupted you just now to explain. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think naturally when you have ADHD, when you think of a thing, you get excited. And so you want to say, and you don't want to forget it. I think that's a big part of it.
We don't trust our memories.
Right. And so a lot of the time, the interrupting or the blurting or whatever that kind of can happen is because I thought of something that is relevant and I really want to make sure it doesn't get missed. And I worry if I don't say it now, I won't remember to say it later. And I don't know if I'm always cognizantly thinking of that, but that's sort of like behind the scenes what's happening in my brain. And so I just say the thing. And so, using the finger rule of like, oh, I have something that's really important and I want to say, so I'm going to fold one finger over my thumb and like, that is the concept. I will sometimes even look at it and say this finger is the story that I want to tell about this thing. And that's sort of what I'm thinking. Like sometimes I'll have like 3 fingers folded over and I'll know that number 1 is about this and number 2 is about that product I saw last week. And number 3 is a TV show that had a scene that I want to not forget to tell Marie about or something like that. And so that finger trick, if you're watching the video, you probably saw me do this like a few minutes ago because I had one of those and I didn't want to interrupt because Marie was in the middle of saying her own thing. And so, I find that finger rule to be really crucial in helping me avoid what naturally happens sometimes because I get excited about a connecting thing.
I don't even know how we got on that topic.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think one of us interrupted someone else to tell our own story. But I think that, I could talk about this forever too, because it's also why I think that it's all of us are product people. We love product, as we said. So someone can't bring up a website without me being like, well, that's kind of like this mixed with that. And it's not me saying that your product shouldn't exist or that you need to discover something. I just feel like, shouldn't everyone think about everything that's ever existed that's similar to this?
Right.
Isn't that an important part of this conversation?
Well, maybe that's part of it too, the whole product type of brain. You constantly hear oh, it's like Airbnb for other business vertical or whatever. Right. And that's, I think that's common in the lingo and just the way our brain works is we're finding those connections between different things all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sort of pattern recognition as well. That there's that pattern there already and it's like that, but just tweaked.
But there is, and then I guess the contrast to being long storytellers, to your point, Marie, though, I do feel like all of us crave and work toward for important things being able to put them in a nutshell because we know how hard it is to win our attention. And so if we see a long explanation of something, we're like, oh, we can fix that. Because it is, my storytelling, I want to tell you the whole background, but I want the headline to really hit. And have you kind of get that love of TLDR.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly a big reason. I mean, multiple reasons, but one of the reasons I wrote my book was I was trying to read another book on ADHD and it had a wall of text and I was stuck on that page and could not get past that page. And I was like, do they not know that people with ADHD will be reading their book on ADHD? Yeah, we have ADHD. How can you write a single paragraph that spans multiple pages? And so that's why I very intentionally, when I wrote my book, lots of small paragraphs, really easy to kind of get through.
You've got a lot of pictures breaking up the text as well.
Yeah. I really tried to make it so that it's really easy to read and not have... Basically, I wanted there never to be a moment where you jumped up to the start of a paragraph because you got lost. Because I know that happens to me so often. So I would very
good goal.
Yeah. Really thinking about the visual layout of the text. Awesome. Well, we should probably start to wrap up. We did a little bit of a year recap in this episode. And I think next year, we're already in next year, but next episode, we're going to do a bit of a look forward. And so listeners can look forward to that coming soon. Which I didn't plan that. That just worked out that way. But we are going to do, before we wrap up, we're going to do picks and plugs. And so we'll start off with plugs. Marie, where can people go to find out more about you and what you're doing?
And just to make sure you stick around, sorry.
Yes. Well, for the picks, you want to get the...
Yeah, you want to stick around for the picks because picks are our favorite things or tech products or things like that we like. I just wanted to define what a pick was. Sorry, I suck.
Yeah, cool. I think that's good. Where can people find me? Well, people can find me on Instagram. at 3 Hour Coffee. That's spelled out the words 3 Hour Coffee. And you can find Llama Life on the App Store and Google Play. Just search for Llama Life. Where can people find you, Sharon?
You can find me also on Instagram.
And Blue Sky now.
Yeah. Yes. And Shelpful is my name there too, at Shelpful, SHELPFUL. TikTok, I have a different name. It's at automatically ADHD. And Shelpful.com and Shelpful in the App Store. And I forgot to mention, or maybe I'll mention it more next time, but it coming soon to Android.
Ooh,
stay tuned.
That's big
interesting.
news.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm getting nervous already.
You're nervous for it?
Yeah, it's so much. It's
Don't discourage me.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
All right, Jesse,
go
where
for
can
it.
people
That'll be
find
great.
you? And then Jesse, do your plug and then go right into your pick.
Yeah. Okay. So you can find me online. I'm on all the social media for ADHD Jesse. If you go to Blue Sky, that's probably where I'm most active right now, as we talked about in this episode. You can check out wavepal, which we didn't talk about very much this episode, but wavepal is sort of a friendship CRM, which helps you stay in touch with your friends. You can find that at wavepal.app. And you can check out my Blue Sky client at fluxapp.blue. And I think that's it. I mentioned my book, but it's called Extra Focus. So extrafocusbook.com for my ADHD book. I think that's all the plugs. I probably have 20 more because I always have lots of plugs.
Substack.
Yeah, well, that's extrafocus.com. There's too many. No one's going to go to all of these different places. But now I'm like nervous about it because I was at a conference like a month and a half ago, and I forgot to plug really important things at some of the talks I was part of. And so now I'm like, what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting that's really important? Like when I'm on stage talking about podcasts and not mentioning the podcast I'm currently on and things
while
like
your
that.
podcast co-host is sitting in the audience, the front row.
Yeah, or while I'm separately on a panel talking about writing with ADHD and not mentioning that I have a ADHD writers Substack, which that was
and
also
not to make fun of you, but you were the only author who also forgot your book to bring
I
it
know.
physically to the panel.
Oh my gosh, that was great. That was okay because someone got a copy. You got a copy, right?
Me.
Yeah, you handed it to Ari, and then Ari ran up to me.
I sprinted over because I knew they were selling your book, and I just took one. I was like,
just took one.
I'm taking this. It's for the author, and I just ran away. They probably thought I stole it.
That's a true friend. Yeah, that was great. So I appreciate that. So let's move on to picks. So just something shiny object that you think is awesome right now. And I randomly, so where I live, we haven't had a bookstore in town for a long time, which makes me really sad because I love a good bookstore. And I think it was since when Borders went out of business. That was which is like 15 years ago or something like that. There used to be one of those in my town, and then they went out of business, and then we just had no bookstore for a long time. Except for 2025, we now have 3 bookstores. So 2 independent bookstores.
Books are back.
Yeah, books are back, baby. So two independent bookstores opened this year, and a Barnes and Noble, which I love Barnes and Noble. I'm a big fan of what they're doing there. Especially, they have like a new CEO that's got like a kind of a new direction for them, which is really cool. Which is a lot less corporate and more about letting people in different locations make decisions for that store that makes sense for that location, which I think is really cool. Instead of like, this is the layout for Barnes and Noble across the whole country, even when maybe it doesn't make sense. So anyway, big fan of Barnes and Noble, but I was there checking it out because it just opened a few months ago and looking like, what's a cool book that I might enjoy reading. And I got this book called Click by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. So the subtitle is How to Make What People Want. So it's a great product book. And these two, Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, they wrote a previous book. They've written a few books together. I believe they're both ex-Google employees. And they wrote another book called Make Time, which is really, really great time management book.
I've seen that. That's why they sounded familiar. Yeah, I've seen that. I haven't read it, but I've seen it. That
one's really good too. But this has been really good for it's really written for a startup, for like really validating what it is you're building, what's your differentiator, like why would people pick you? And it's going through kind of that whole process of how to come up with like principles for your company, the differentiators, or like things. One of the things they talk about a lot in the book is having like a 4-quadrant graph where you kind of have like the 4 corners where it's like, what are some examples? Like slow and fast versus cheap and expensive or something like that. And figuring out like, what is it that your product has? Like, what are those two cross lines, those 2 grids or whatever, where your product is up and to the right and all your competitors are down and to the left? Like what, because if you define those, what are those things? Which is kind of like, what is the differentiator? And so like Llama Life, one of the things about Llama Life is it's fun. Like you intentionally are kind of focusing on that fun and delight. And so maybe that's one of the lines for you is like a traditional to-do app is not going to be fun. It's going to be over on the left.
Yeah.
And so, and then maybe thinking like, what's the second one that puts it where I'm way over here to the upper right and most of the people are down
Like
to the lower left.
effectiveness. Yeah, like effective or like ability to get things done or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really great way. And so they talk about in it Google Meet. And one of the differentiators of Google Meet versus like Zoom or something like that is it's easy and it's really fast.
Download.
Because there's no download. It's already in your browser. You just get a link and you can get to it right away. And so that means they're missing some of the features. Like there's the compromise for that, but they have their grid that really allows them to focus on like, what is it that makes us different and leaning into that and really kind of helping use that as a focus for features. Like, does this feature help that or does it actually take away from that? Because if it takes away from that, we probably don't want to focus on it. We want to focus on the things that lean into our strengths. Anyway, really great. Even if you aren't doing like they have like some guidelines for how to like run a sprint and sort of like learn some of that stuff. Even if you don't do that, I think it's a really great book just for helping frame your brain kind of around how to think about product for your app. It really brought up a lot of new things as I was reading through it and kind of like thinking about WavePal. And my co-founder and I actually did go through, we've done one day, they kind of have like 2-day recommended schedules if you want to do like a sprint. And so we did the first one. Oh my gosh, we learned so much. It was so good. And really, especially like for you, Sharon, like for having like a team and having multiple people in there and then really figuring out that, oh, I thought this is what was really important to us, but someone else said that thing. That's really interesting that we had that different frame for this. Maybe we can explore that more, or maybe we should lean one way or the other. Anyway, I found it really, really valuable. So Click, highly recommended for a product person.
And you finished you read it all the way through already?
I read it all the way through really fast, like within a week. I just I sped through it. And I've read halfway through it a second time and underlined like crazy. A really easy read. Highly recommend it.
That is a high recommendation. I'm gonna oh gosh, I really don't do well with physical books other than yours, Jesse. But I just I want to buy it, but will I read it physically or should I get it on Kindle? I can get on Kindle.
I usually do Kindle. So I bought this one physically because I was at the bookstore and looking for something to grab. And I read like the first couple of chapters there in like the little coffee shop. And then so I read the whole book the first time through the physical one. And then I got it on Kindle as well. And I've been like going through it and just because it's easier to find highlights and stuff like that. But
so I'm so jealous with both of you for like being able to read books. I just can't get in. I can't get into books like no matter how hard I try. Like I
struggle with nonfiction.
Yeah, I can do audiobooks. I just can't. When I read the page,
audiobooks that counts.
Audiobooks totally counts.
Audiobooks 100%. Are books.
I was going to ask you, like, does this have a lot of pictures? Because if it does, audiobooks are not great.
Yeah, I mean, it does, but I think the audiobook would still work really well.
But authors have gotten good at doing a PDF companion, though. Like, a lot of audiobooks I've listened to. So I basically can only do nonfiction. I typically do audiobook. For the most recent nonfiction ones that I've read, I did audiobook. The ones that I read happened I'm hoping this is just the case now. They have a really good downloadable reference document. So when they're talking about this matrix, they're like, oh yeah, just go to the document, which is great because then actually it's great at the end because then you don't have to go thumb through for all the visuals. You just have them all in one place. So
and they have a ton of like resources like that. Like I mentioned, my buddy and I going through it for WavePal, and they actually have like a Miro board. I don't know if you're familiar with Miro. It's like a diagram kind of tool where we basically use that, or kind of like FigJam also. But we use that. So they had a template already built up, and then we use that for kind of going through the process. And so they have a whole bunch of resources like that
Nice.
with the book. So I think
Love the
there
modern
are
book.
a lot of pictures, but a lot of them are things you would get by hearing the audio too. Because like I said, it's like, oh, here's a picture of a chart with Google Meet up and to the right for easy and fast, and then other ones down and to the left. And so it's a chart that you already get it by hearing them, say the words. So I don't think you need the graphics, but they're most likely available in the PDF.
Let's do, Marie, get the audiobook and I will too. And we'll hold each other to it.
Okay.
Because it sounds like a good one.
Do that.
Do you want me to gift it to you? I have extra credits.
Okay. Okay. I'll listen.
Don't waste my credit, Marie.
Okay.
If I give it to you, you better use it, or else we'll have beef.
Is it Audible?
I have Audible credits. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll message you my Audible account. Email.
I think I can just text it to you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
I'm very generous with my Audible because I go through points where I just forget that I have Audible. I'm actually I'm doing a lot of listening, even just the beginning of this year. So I'm in the mode. So I'll just stack this on after my next book.
And just because it's credits and you go, don't waste my credits, I will listen to it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's that extra. Yeah. That
Audible,
extra,
you get one credit
push.
equals one book, and you get one per month you're subscribed. And I think I have 7 credits right now. Burning a hole in my pocket, and you're such a good friend. I'll give it to you, but don't waste it.
Thank you. All right, I won't. I'll listen to it on my walks.
Since I've guilted Marie, should we let her do her pick next?
Yeah. I'll do a physical pick. So I think, I don't know, a lot of people probably know I'm like a big fan of Pebble. Pebble's like this smartwatch company that existed many, many years ago.
The original smartwatch.
The original
company.
smartwatch.
Yeah, it was before the Apple Watch.
Way before the Apple Watch. And it has... I don't know, the thing I like... So basically this company existed and it was on Kickstarter. It was one of the biggest campaigns ever done on Kickstarter, one of the most successful ones, and they delivered the first smartwatch. And it was around for many years, and then it went out of business. And I think it's been out of business for maybe... I'm sort of guessing here, I think maybe 8 years or something. And it just came back. So the founder's now back at the helm and is... making a whole bunch of new smartwatches. I guess my recommendation is to go check that out again. Pebble, Pebble. And I've pre-ordered a bunch of smartwatches. I got one the other day. They just released one that's like a round one, which looks really cool. And the thing I like about it the most is that it's got physical buttons. Like I need physical buttons on my smartwatch because when I use things like, say, music controls, I do it without looking at my watch. Like you can do it with muscle memory. You go, there's 3 buttons on the side of my watch. If I press and hold like the bottom button, it opens the music controls. And if I press that again, it jumps forward like 30 seconds. And I don't have to look at my watch. I can do it very discreetly when I'm walking, or I can set a timer without looking at my watch. And you just can't do that with modern smartwatches where you've got to look down, swipe the screen, tap on the screen. I just want to do things without looking at it. So for me, it's like the perfect smartwatch. It doesn't try to do too much. It just does like music controls, notifications, timers, which I love. I love timers, everything about timers. And that's all I need.
Does it let you page your phone? Like my number one use case of my Apple Watch is finding my phone, like around my house or in my pocket sometimes. Like that's literally by a large margin, my main use case.
I think I am on my phone so much, I just never lose it. Like, it's just always on me. It's, like, scary how much I look at my phone.
Same. But, like, I'll just set it down behind me and, like, it'll be just right here. And I'm like, where's my phone? Or, like, it'll be, but I find it so fast now.
I feel like that's locked within, like, the Apple ecosystem or whatever. So I don't think it would support that. There might be some way to do it, but I don't think it's like a built-in.
You could see, because there are apps that can make noise and...
Actually, I know someone that's really good with automation, and I bet they could figure something out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure you could create some kind of shortcut that you could trigger from your watch, and that shortcut can just ring you or ring your Google Voice number or send you a text message.
Does the Pebble have a speaker, though? I don't know if it has a speaker at all.
Does it have a speaker? I don't think so. It's got a microphone, but it doesn't have a speaker. But you don't need the speaker on your watch. You just need it to be able to ring your phone.
Oh, you're just trying to find your phone. That's right. Yeah.
Trying to find my phone. Don't need to make a call. Just want to find it.
Yeah, so there probably is a way to do that.
To text yourself or call yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some way to do it. Oh, and that's the other cool thing, because the Pebble OS is open source. it's open source, so you can make stuff for it like really easily and like make it do whatever you want, pretty much.
That's fun too. I love I just love what comes out of communities like that when that happens.
Yeah. The website for it is Repebble. So repebble.com. And I really want one, even though I have the Apple Watch Ultra 2, I think it is, and it's great. And I love that. Kind of the same thing I think we've said in the past with like the Aura Ring. Like I like that it's like tracking stuff and like I have this health data, which is really cool. And I do use it. But the dumbest thing is I really, really miss, even though it's been like 8 years or whatever, I really miss the watch faces you can have for the Pebble. And the Apple watch faces, like some of them are okay. But the fact that they don't have any custom watch faces, it still just like boggles my mind, like why that isn't a thing. And there's a specific watch face for the Pebble, one watch face that I really, really miss because it's hard to describe, but it's
which
basically...
I took a screenshot of and sent it to you to like tempt you the other day.
Yeah, because there's this watch face I used to have when I had the Pebble, and it was called like Slow Watch, where essentially you imagine like an analog clock, but you just have a minute hand. So, hour hand. You're right. Sorry, you're right. It's the hour hand. But it's really zoomed in on like the point where it's crossing over the numbers. So you can actually see that, oh, there's the 2. So it's like 2:00. And then it's so zoomed in that you can see which minute it is on within that hour. And it's hard to describe. And I don't really understand why, but something about that watch face really clicks with my brain where I feel like I understand time better. And so,
it'd be like, I to describe it a different way, because they just showed it to me before this call. It's like you're just looking at a pie slice of the clock. You're not looking at the whole pie. You're just looking at a slice of it, and so a quarter of it, not even And so it's like it just makes it feel smaller, makes time feel smaller, probably for you too.
Yeah, and it's something about like the time timer. It's almost like how the time timer adds some visual element to time passing, or like you have in Llama Life as well. You can see time as a shape. There's something like that to it as well, where it really, I don't know why, it clicks with my brain, and that makes me want to get a Pebble again because I miss it. All right, so Sharon, what's your pick?
I'll go quickly, but I got a new pair of Meta glasses. I got the Oakley Meta glasses. So if you're on video, I'm putting them on right now. They're really like cool.
Oakley, they're reflective.
They're reflective.
Very reflective. I can see your whole
very reflective. I think it's a cool look.
They remind me of the old school Oakleys that are super mirrored with like almost like a rainbow mirror thing on the front, like the really old school ones. Like
yes, and they do have the other ones, the Oakleys that they might be the more popular ones. They're kind of almost like this baseball sunglasses, and they're mirrored rainbow. And they have the cameras actually in the middle, and they're much like Oakley in general compared to. They're both owned by Luxottica, so Oakley and Ray-Ban are owned by the same company. But so Oakley is decidedly marketing toward like more of a sporty use case, and then Ray-Ban's more like social use case. So this, I actually wore these in Mexico, because they can't go underwater and stay underwater, but they can withstand some splashing. So I wore them like down some water slides and got some good water slide footage. Nice. And I use the camera function probably. It's like, of course, I came back to Pacific Northwest where I don't need sunglasses because it's rainy and cold. But I think my number one use is probably camera, or maybe almost tied with playing music. I love that about it. And Jesse, I know you have Gen 1 and Gen 2, and so including these Oakleys and the newer Ray-Ban Metas, they have a longer battery life and a better camera. They look the same to everyone else, but those are the two differences, And so my hack for battery is there's a little switch to turn it on and off. So I'll like during the day just switch them off, and I'll just switch them back on like when I want to listen to music again. And it's not common that I need to like emergency take a picture, although it is nice. So I kind of, if I'm wearing them a lot, I'll like just kind of I'll just switch them off for a while. And so my Gen 1s tend to last through the day, but because I do that. But Gen 2, it's much better. You don't have to think about that as much, which is nice.
Are they heavy on your face?
No. They feel the same as regular sunglasses to me, because they're kind of balanced. Everything is kind of supported. throughout. So they look good. They feel good. They're good.
Yeah, they look good.
I love them.
Yeah, so I have the Gen 1s. I'm not wearing them right now because they are a little bit thicker. And my headphones, I can't wear headphones when I wear them.
Me neither. Me neither.
It just doesn't work quite right.
That's the only time I noticed the extra thickness, I think.
Yeah. So I really like them. The big thing for me is the battery life. For me, it's like 90% of my usage is having headphones, like having the podcast, being able to just like listen to stuff all the time.
And that'll run the battery.
And that runs out the battery. And so that's why I kind of want the Gen 2 just for the better battery life, because if I like start my day by putting those on, I'll usually run out of battery before the end of the day because I will use the glasses instead of my AirPods.
Yeah, they're great, Jesse. You should totally upgrade. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I will always push everyone to get more products. I just love products. All right. Well, that I think concludes this episode for today. Make sure to tune in next time because we're going to do our kind of 2026 look forward, and like goal setting might be putting it bigger than it is, but just like setting some intentions for the business, for ourselves as we go into the new year.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about our theme for 2026, individual themes or like theme words, theme phrases. Marie and I did that a few years ago, and I thought that was really good. So I think that's what we'll do for us as well. So yeah, see you soon.
See you next time.
Bye.